So now we're going to look a little deeper at industry standard drawings, and what you'll see is that these bubbles here point to items and they have to match up with what's down on the parts list. So item number 1, my balloon number 1, points at the housing. And so this is your key. This is your pictorial key to what's down here. Item number 1 is the housing. So each item has to be called out and shown, or it's not a complete standard drawing. And then you have to say how many of them there are. In this case, there's 1 housing, 1 spur gear, 1 different spur gear, and an end plate. But these aren't really the part numbers. The part numbers come from what we see over here. Those are the part numbers, and here are the descriptions. So we need to fix that up. So I'm going to double click on that. And what is my part number for the housing? 330.17. Yours may be different. 330.17. So I'm going to put that in there. 0.17. And I know that that is called the description is housing. I'll apply that. There we go. That's moving along. Every time I get something done right, I want to go ahead and save it. Okay, and I'm going to do that for all of these. I'm going to do the next one, but then after that, it's sort of up to you. So my spur gear number 1, I have to go see which one that is from my picture. Item number 2 is my drive gear, my pinion. Okay, so I can come down here now and find item number 2. That's my pinion. There it is, 330.10, my pinion. 330.10. And what is it actually called? Gear pinion. And that's all I'm going to put on there, gear pinion. So that's all that'll fit here. Gear pinion. And then you'll go and fix all of the other ones, your spur gear and your end plate. So that's the first part of, and I'm going to do a quick save. Okay, so that's a key part, that your materials list must match your drawing, and it has to match your material log. Okay, so that's a big part of it. The second part that you want to know about is these reference dimensions, which we've talked about a little bit before. They just give you the idea of what's on there. Okay, so those aren't hard dimensions. They're just saying it's about 5.75, just so somebody has an idea of it. The other thing is that there's a lot of notes, and these are called assembly notes. Okay, so this is letting you know the OD of the gears ride on this ID. And so what you might even do is say what kind of grease or lubricant gets used there. So this is just a placeholder for some notes right now. But usually there are notes about how to assemble if it's not obvious from this. So as an example, if one thing has to be placed in before the other, you would do that. If something has to be tightened up before you do something else, you would notice that. Okay. Also, as we talked in the modules, the clamping bolts are not shown, but I'm calling it out so that somebody knows that those would be there. Okay. So that's very typical that you have what are called assembly notes. To help the person who's putting it together know some details about what's going on. Right? So basically, that's it for a standard assembly drawing. The important parts are that your picture needs to match your parts list. Okay? That's really important, and it needs to match your material log. Because somebody's going to take this drawing They're going to go, okay, I want a 330.17 of the bump. And maybe they know what those are and maybe they don't. But they're going to find, they do know what a housing is because it shows a picture of it. And they can work off of this then. Okay? So that is your little brief review of an industry standard assembly drawing.